Namaste, good morning. How are you all? Yes, fine, nice to see you. Today we are going to study one of the most used, important theatrical dance form, which is now in the recent, let's say, about 30 years, is used a lot by not only the practitioners of the form, but by a lot of dancer and contemporary theatre people. These are some of the forms. Why? Because this is paper 2, which connects dance and theatre, and it goes continuity from Natya Shastra tradition. So, if Natya Shastra has talked about Sarir Shaushava and the importance of Vyayama for the dancers, actors, then the later coming together, that is after maybe 1200 years, that we see actively these forms which has come down from the Uparupaka, Dasharupaka, Uparupaka, that tradition. And in India, there are many regional forms of the martial arts. Martial arts are forms of dance and dance theatre, and they employ their technique and have created most challenging and captivating forms. The techniques are employed in some forms of dance, dance dramas, and dance theatre. The primeval influence and impact of martial discipline on the development of various folk art forms and classical and modern theatre is an accepted and well-known fact. Just as an example of Kalaripayattu, the innate potential of Kalaripayattu as a worthy component of the folk art form and theatre has obtrusively remained as the warp and woof of the social fabric of Kerala. It is one of the best known Indian martial art that has been used also in movies to make it maybe popular. It was used, I think, in Ashoka and the myth. Let's look at some of the regional martial forms only by names. Like in Andhra Pradesh, you have the native system of Chedi Talim Khana or Yuddha Kaushalya. Che Talim is often abbreviated to Talim Khana or simply Talim. In Bengal and Bangladesh, Dio Khela, the knife fighting, and Fala Khela, that is the sword fighting, is used, along with the traditional stick fighting, the Lakh, and Fala Khela, that is the sword fighting, with traditional stick fighting, that is the Lathi Khela. In Karnataka, we have unarmed combat, that is the Kaivarase, and staff fighting, that is Koluvarase, and sword fighting, that is Kattivarase. Kashmir has Kwe or Khawankai. Maharashtra has Mardani Khel. Kerala, Kalaripayattu. Odisha, Parikhanda or Paika Khanda. Punjab, Gatka and Lathi. Rajasthan, Satara Vidya, that is Shastra Vidya is Shastara Vidya. Bengal has Lathi. Tamil Nadu, Silambam, very well known, and Varma Kalai, Aditadi, Malyuttam and Kushti. The resurgence of public interest Now we will talk about Kalaripayu in detail. And the public interest resurgence started for Kalaripayu around 1920s in Tellicherry as part of the wave of rediscovery of the traditional arts throughout South India. It was perhaps the growing reaction against the British colonial rule. Martial arts is a part of India's ancient culture and a part of traditional games. Nowadays, a self defense and for fitness, a lot of people are opting for martial arts. You are also aware of the many forms like outside India of the Taekwondo and the Kung Fu, and of course the famous, yes, the very famous, what is it called? Karate and Karate Kid movies. So this is one of the reasons that a lot of Indian the Indian dancers and choreographer also have got attracted to the various Indian martial forms. The reason is the breath control, the postural perfection, balance, internalization are some of the most profound qualities which definitely makes a dancer and an actor prepare better if they have worked on martial arts. Since the martial art primarily dealt with warfare, injuries and wounds were inevitable, and hence the science of Kalari incorporated effective treatment from Ayurveda for cure of wounds, bursies, dislocations and fractures. Healing has always been an important part of martial arts. You cannot be a fighter without knowing how to heal yourself and your wounds. Treatment of Kalari makes use of Ayurvedic herbs and herbal preparations and provide instant relief. Martial arts are, as you see, a mechanical system as well as the emotional system of strength of all kinds, which gives you strength, balance and so many things. In addition, the practice of this martial art requires great deal of body flexibility, physical strength, extremely high levels of mental concentration and a synergy of mind, body and soul to be able to attack and defend the body with extremely fast reflexes. The requisite physical fitness is acquired by making use of disciplined regime of yoga techniques. These yoga asanas being used for improving the flexibility have come to be called the Kalari yoga. The body is prepared for improving the flexibility by making use of usichil or massages with specially prepared oils. Herbal extracts are added which also provide an effective treatment for rheumatic complaints and nervous disorders. The mental strength, focus and concentration are improved by means of meditation, pranayam and yoga practice. Hence, Kalari has incorporated Kalari yoga and Kalari Ayurvedic treatments including massage too. Kalaripayattu is a tradition of art of war known in the regions of Tamil Nadu and Kerala. It is one of the oldest fighting systems in existence. The martial art form is regarded as the oldest and most scientific of its kind in the world. Kalari indicates a training center, while Payattu means practices. Today, there are three branches of Kalaripayattu: Northern, Central and Southern Kalaripayattu. Southern Kalaripayattu was originally a secret method of the Nayars, the members of the warrior caste of Kerala. It was practiced only in specific Kalari buildings. Everywhere in Asia, martial arts have a very long history, often extending to prehistoric times. According to popular mythology, it is the warrior sage Parashurama who promulgated Kalaripayattu. Literary evidences from around 200 AD exist in South India, indicating the existence of martial arts. The training progresses from footwork and stances to unarmed techniques, blunt weapons, and finally to edged weapons. Energetic footwork, executed mainly with the outer edge of the sole, is the focus of Kalaripayattu technique. Footwork patterns is most important key in Kalaripayattu. It consists of kicking movements and extremely high jumping. It can be divided into several armed forms and unarmed techniques. The most common weapon today are the staff, stick, sword, shield, spear, dagger, and flexible sword. The weapons also include a three-bladed knife, axes, and other local types of weapons. Many of the movement units are named after various animals and they clearly imitate animal movements. This is a common feature in many of martial arts traditions in Asia. Kalaripayattu seems to confirm the long roots of these traditions, extending back to prehistorical times when contact with animal world was intensively close. In Kalaripayattu, body is also used as weapon. The body is trained to become extremely elastic, quick and powerful through years of practice and oil massage. The principles of Kalari education stipulates that training in martial art begins with an oil massage of the body, which goes on until the body is agile and supple. Body conditioning exercises form the foundation of all other exercises in Kalaripayattu. These calisthenics are to endow one with agile and supple body, a graceful gait, stamina, strength, balance of body, and stability of footwork. Feats like Chattom jumping, Ottam running, Marichil somersault are then taught, followed by the lessons in the use of weapons such as daggers, swords, spears, maces, the bow and arrow, and so on. Many of Kalaripayattu elements were adopted later by Kathakali dance drama, particularly the stamping on the outer edge of the sole and the jumping methods. Body conditioning exercises form the foundation of all other exercises in Kalaripayattu. These calisthenics are to endow one with strength, stamina, body balance, and stability of footwork. The primeval influence and impact of martial disciplines on the development of various folk art forms and classical and modern theatre is an accepted and well known fact. Out of the boundless pan Indian cultural scenario, we can cull together any number of paradigms for this. Kalari is the Malayalam word for a traditionally built gymnasium to teach the martial art known as Payattu. The four stages of Payattu are Maipayattu, Kalthari, Angathari, and Verumkai, which means body conditioning exercises 1, use of wooden weapons 2, use of sharp metallic weapons 3, and handed defense and attack respectively. That is the 4. These are the 4 stages. Kalari Payattu training aims at the ultimate coordination of the mind and the body. The traditional training in Kalari includes specialization in indigenous medical practice too. Kalaris are also centers of religious worship. The general guidance to be followed in Kalari Payattu demand that once the course is complete, a person should undergo oil massage and engage in the practice of feats regularly to help him keep in shape. It is considered as the most comprehensive of all the martial art traditions because Kalari Payattu has an excellent system of physical training, very effective self defense techniques, both armed and unarmed, a great system of vital pressure points, based system of fighting and treatment using the principles of Ayurveda. It is a comprehensive guide to attain the flexibility and desired physical and mental strength required to practice this martial art. It incorporates and links with Ayurveda and has developed its system of healing and treatments for injuries that may arise as a result of the practice of Kalari, and a great philosophy based on the Vedic culture of India. Kalari is very closely associated with dance. We sometimes practice it as a pre-dance exercise. Many experts of Kalari have integrated the nuances of martial movements, yoga and exercises for teaching and body training of dancers. The dance classes may begin with breathing exercises, warm-up exercises, Maithari and Kolthari. Yoga asanas are practiced to enhance flexibility and body control. They have modified the teaching methodology with the blend of traditional practice and modern life requirements. Many dancers practice sometimes Kalari as pre-dance exercise, an art form, a source of inspiration for self-expression in dance forms. Both. Now, let us see Thangta. Thangta is popular term for the ancient Manipuri martial art known as Yuen Lalong. The art developed from the war environment of the tiny state of Manipur in northeast India, which was an independent kingdom since the early Christian era. It played an important role in the geopolitical environment of medieval times in between India and China, with many independent states at war with each other. Constant life and death struggles between clans, tribes and states resulted in the devising of ways and means of safeguarding the lives of citizens' solidarity, and at the same time developing an inward attitude to problems of life, death and afterlife. Thangta is performed in Manipuri and Manipur. Thangta is a cultural heritage art of Manipur. Its traditional name, as you know, is Yuen Langlon. Yuen Langlon means war and knowledge of art. That is the knowledge of war art. Thang and Ta are main weapons of this art, so people commonly known as this art as Thangta. This is not meant to as Thang is sword and Ta is spear. This is the name of the art. In this art, movements of sword intended to ward off evil spirit is shown, while other dance moves indicate protection. It is recognized by the Ministry of Culture of Government of India as a classical dance form of India, but not by the Sangeet Natak Academy. The art of the battle simultaneously envisioned a deep value system or world view ensconced within the culture of the small ethnic communities struggling for survival from constant attack from hostile neighbors, and also to sustain a social order based on rank, status and keen affiliation of a collective kind. The individual was always in deep relationship with the community, using ritual as a means of constant regenerative action in tune with the movement of the spiritual world of the ancestors beyond human life. The world of man was an outward revelation of the inner life of the natural world and the universe. Deep harmony between outer action and inner forces resulted in the use of body in various forms of expression. The art of the battle and the use of weaponry, when its warlike engagements were over, developed into a system of wielding objective elements in organic relationship with the cosmos. The body itself became a space where the tensions and dynamics of creation was worked out in a system of movements reflecting the essence of those creative forces. The whole world of dynamic cosmos was created within the world of the body of men. The Manipuri art of Thangta was once practiced by the state's indigenous hill tribes, who would engage in duels governed by strict rules of conduct. The armed combat called Thangta is named after the system's main weapons, the thang, the sword and ta spear. Practitioners through Chaibi Gatka, in which a formed sword is used together with a shield, is used. Unarmed Yuen Lalong is called Sarit Sarak and is used in conjunction with Thangta when the fighter loses their weapon. Thangtar or Yuen Lalong is a weapon based martial art created by the Meiteis of Manipur. In the Manipuri language, Thangta means sword and spade or similar. As its name implies, the sword and spear are the primary weapons in Thangta. The spear can be used in its non-missile form while in close or thrown. Thangta thus became an expressive art form which, however, retained its fighting character at the secret homes and schools of individual teachers or gurus after being prohibited during the period of the colonial Raj. It survived during the period of Manipur's integration with the Indian Union in 1949, where the art was shown in festival and performance platforms, and it is also taken abroad since 1976. Unfortunately, the internal system of meditative practices and its essential spiritual character is at risk of being lost through lack of knowledge and committed practice by these generations. The contemporary theatre practitioners are gaining awareness of the basic energy used and creative exercises of the body resources, which would enhance the performance energy of the artist. Ratan Tayyam has explored Thangta extensively in many of his productions. It is at an exploratory stage that this new culture is being re-examined. The movement behavior of the different parts of Manipuri martial bodies are derived from the cultural and habitual use of daily life. Certain extra daily postures, positions and movements are compiled into codes, adding to the mature repertoire and the natural repertoire. Physical characteristics in customary usage of the ritual practice are Khurumba, where the forward and downward flexation of the relaxed spine is used, which is like a bow. Thalaiba, which is the rotation and tilts of the pelvic joint in different angles while supporting the torso in regular curvilinear use, which is the most common. The half turn of the chest are also very common. Thong Kong, which is kind of a bridge support. The squat is also familiar use of lowering of the upper extremities nearer to the ground, where the two legs in deep bent position support the whole body, thereby proximally utilizing the use of upper extremities at the ground level. Men use three positions of squat in descending order to enable the firmer hold of the body on pro-gravitational positions. Vai Taiba, a daily ritual of cleaning the floor by women. Women use a different flexible squat system with the bent knees opened out to enable to forward flexion of the torso of the spine. The hand uses the washcloth with more space at her command while rubbing the floor. The entire system of body use are rich and varied, and the wrist could be more appropriately exploited in Kujangalapi, that is the wrist circling to emulate the figure of 8. The thang emphasizes feed up, that is the coil, lowering of one's body near to the ground to enable a sparing action for expansion and attack. The ta emphasizes fanba, an opening out of the body with two forms. Nong fan to stimulate the expanse of the sky, and the lai fall emulating the expanse of the earth at the ground level in order to reach out to all directions of space. The spear uses about 75% of the lower extremities in motion, while the wielding of the sword normally takes 75% exercises of the upper extremities. The martial system is a much more vigorous use of body in order to reach out to the space of the opponent, and the two arts are derived from physiographic and cultural environment of the Manipuri plains and the hills. The Meitei in the plains and the predominant ethnic group are capable of using both sword and spear in its weapon system. The sword is most favorably used in protecting the body from attack from all sides, whereby the figure of 8 is extensively used to cover the all vulnerable parts of the body. The Meitei often use more movement than stillness while preparing to fight the opponent, and the self as target is dynamic, moving and shifting position often. There is also the use of stillness while awaiting the attacking move of the opponent, depending on the nature of the enemy. Although now we are looking into some of the modern dancers who have extensively used the martial arts, and two forms to two dancers, which is Chandralekha associated with Kalaripayattu and Preeti Patel associated with Thang Ta. Although Chandralekha received her early training in Bharatanatyam, she went to change her focus to post-modern fusion dances that incorporated elements from other dances, martial arts, Kalaripayattu and other performing arts. She, as the Indian dancer and choreographer, was known for her philosophical fusing of Bharatanatyam with martial arts and therapeutic varieties of other dances. By drawing upon the collective experience of martial arts, of the physical traditions of yoga and dance, Chandralekha had managed to synthesize several elements into a joyous celebration of the body. This historical, anthropological, and almost anthropomorphic exploration of the tradition of the body language was conceived in 6 startling sequences of pure magic and added by many more sequences. Some of the Bharatanatyam exponents from Rukmini Devi's Kalakshetra, young exponents of Kalaripayattu, and practitioners of yoga were brought together and fused together to create images visually so overwhelming that a Tilana or an Angika or Stree will never seem to followers of Indian dance the same. It was Chandralekha's choreography. And Preeti Patel is one such artist who has, through her efforts, tried to preserve the essence and authenticity of Manipuri dance through her system of instructions. Born in 1960, she was initiated into the world of dance at the early age of 5. At the age of 12, she started learning dance from eminent Manipuri dance gurus, late Bipin Singh and the Jhaveri sisters. Through the rigorous training she underwent under her gurus, she excelled as a dance use in this form of dance, and especially the Vaishnava Ras Leela from Manipuri dance tradition. But, however, her quest for mastery and perfection made her delve more into the study of this unique dance tradition. She took lessons in the pre-Vaishnavite dance forms of Thangta that we've seen earlier, the martial arts from the Manipur, and Lai Haroba, a ritualistic dance form of Manipuri. In this quest for knowledge, she was imparted extensive training by her Guru Padma Shri Oza and Babu Singh and Padma Shri Oza Thorani Saibi Devi in Sankirtan and Rasalila traditions. These were eminent and also scholar Padma Shri Pandit and Khela Chandra Singh in the Thangta tradition. It was Padma Shri late M.K. Binodini Devi, a Manipuri literate and scholar, who has shaped and influenced Preeti's dance over the years, and she gave her information on the origin, history and importance and the very ethos of Manipuri dance, culture and society. Preeti uses vibrant and energetic world of Thangta in her choreographies. The 4-man, along with Preeti Patel, invoked Usha, the wisdom, maturity and light, and also Agni, with spectacular movements with swords, spears, sticks on the beats of primitive and primitive drums. These are new choreographies, and these are the creative impetuses using Manipuri, Thangta and other forms to bring out the best of dance. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Namaste.